Hello everyone, it's Cherie. Welcome to my channel. I hope everybody's doing well. So today I'm going to do a masterboard, and I'm going to cut it up and make some tags. I need some tags and possibly pockets or journal cards or something along those lines. But my head was mainly at tags. And this is probably my favorite way to make tags. It's just so much fun. Plus, of course, you get to use your scraps, and it's kind of like a fun little surprise when you're done. So I just had this little envelope from last year's scraps, and I think it just said like collage pieces or something like that on it. And I just have a variety of different little scrapbooking pieces and printable paper and book page paper, just a bunch of randomness. So I just kind of went through it just to see if there's anything in there that I may want to use, and I pulled out some pieces that I didn't want to use in collage but I might want to use in the future. There was some vintage magazine pages in there from like a 1940s magazine, and like that piece there. And so yeah, I was just kind of perusing through it. So I also I was searching Etsy for some printable paper that I thought might work well for this type of paper craft for the masterboard collage. And I can't remember the name of the shop, but I will link it below. But those there are from Roxy Creations, and then the first ones I looked at, I can't remember the name of the shop, but I really liked them, and I thought that they would be perfect for what I was wanting to do. So I'm just going to start by looking through my papers and just picking out a couple that I know for sure that I want to use, and because obviously I'm not going to be able to use all of them in one sitting anyways. I'm sure they'll get used, just not at this moment. And I'm just, going to take my ruler and tear down my paper, and I'm going to just make some little bits with my ruler that I'm going to collage on this piece here. And then my back, what I'm collaging on is just a couple of pages from an old cookbook, and the cookbook itself was like massive. And I use these pages for just about anything and everything for collage, or if I'm going to do tags or pockets, or it's just a great piece of book page to use that I don't feel guilty about using it at all. It just works perfect, and I have so many of them that I will be good to go for some years to come, I'm sure. So I wanted to go ahead and stick something down on the middle, make sure that it was good and sturdy, so that the pages wouldn't rip apart. And so when I do these masterboard collages, I kind of just I typically do start in the middle and just kind of go out from there, here, just put a few pieces here and there. Just, I'm sure y'all have seen them. You've probably done them yourselves too. If you haven't, I would recommend it because it's so much fun. And I like to use a nice variety of different pieces, different types of paper, and obviously different patterns and colors and all that good fun stuff. So I use my printables, I use some book pages, and I use some old vintage ledger that was, just little pieces of ledger. Just a whole huge variety, and it just ends up coming out so nice. So it's like fun. I don't know, it's fun to look at and all that. So that was just that was a little piece from a vintage Christmas book, and I like the font and the colors, and I think there's even like a little image on there that I like too. But yeah, so I use a couple of pieces of that as well. And this does take a little while to do. I'm kind of slow with everything, so I'm sure it takes me longer than most, but the process is very enjoyable. so it doesn't bother me. And then this is just another scrap from a Christmas book, and I think that one had like December 25th on it, and that's why I wanted to use it. Granted, it'll probably get covered up in the end, but you never know. So I'm just going to continue to rip some of these pieces up and plop them down on the paper. And I don't I kind of cut out a little bit of the process here and there just because it would be, you know, a little, I mean, unless you guys will have to tell me if you like watching the whole process, or if you prefer to have it like, I mean, it's already sped up, but you know, like snippets taken out or whatever. And then that piece there, that's from that scrap from the wrapping paper that was Stampin' Up! Wrapping paper that I used in my ephemera books when I made them. And yeah, like that paper there, that's the one that I went with on Etsy, but like I said, I don't remember the name of the shop, I'm sorry, but I will leave it linked below once again. And I was just going for red and green and, you know, Christmas colors. And I wasn't like, I wasn't sticking obviously to the same like shades or whatever. I was kind of doing different tones of red and green color tones. So yeah, I'm just sticking and plonking. And then I also had like some scrapbooking scraps there, and they're like strips really, and they're just in a coffee mug on my desk. I just took all those little strips that were in that envelope in the beginning and just stuck them in a coffee mug. And I do like to use scrapbooking paper, but I don't use a lot of it because it makes the tags like really thick, which I mean is okay, but I don't want them to be so thick they add a lot of bulk, you know. And then that was just a printable from last year. I have no idea which shop or anything. And then this is just Roxy Creations page from one of her kits that I had a scrap of, and I thought, well, I'm gonna go ahead and use this. It's not Christmas themed, but it's a pretty flower and the colors go, so I'm gonna roll with it. And I think it turns out okay. I like it. I mean, it turns out good. And so now I'm going for my ledger scraps, and I like to put like, you know, little, especially I love doing numbers, and I have quite a few ledger scraps that have like written numbers on there. And then this was just a book page, and I liked the image on the page, and there was two of them actually. There was one that was birds and one that was a little house with our school. It looks like a schoolhouse, and the kids are like leaving the schoolhouse in the snow, like wintry, like those pieces there, those ledger pieces. And I pulled out some straw paper and some script from, you know, some antique paper. And I'm going to go ahead and use those as well. So I got a nice little variety of different types of papers. Different paper weight, different colors, all the good fun stuff. And I actually just made this the other day, and I want to make another one. I'm going to make another one. Just because I like it and I need more tags. So might as well, right? So when I put this piece down, I was thinking this would be really cute as a tag, and so I knew where I was going to cut with this just because of that piece there. I knew I was going to end up making that particular image a tag. And that's usually something else that I do too. I will turn my paper upside down like a lot of people do and then cut it, but sometimes if I do put an image on it that I know that I want it to be on a tag, like a complete image, I will just cut it face up, which is what I did this time. And I like to add big pieces, and I like to go in with little pieces, and then I'll go in with even smaller pieces just to cover up maybe some little spots that didn't quite get covered, or maybe if there's like a hard edge or corner, because I like them to look, I don't want to see like a straight edge, I guess you could say, on the tag, if I can help it. Sometimes you can't help it, and it is what it is, but I prefer to have like a tornness on each of the little scraps. And when I tear my papers, I like to tear them where the white side, you know, how do I explain this? Like when you tear a paper, you've got one side of the page that doesn't have like the paper poking through, the whiteness of the paper when you tear it. So I don't like to put those white pieces down. If I can help it, I will tear those off. Just because I feel like it gives it more of a smooth look instead of quite so rough and jagged. And so I'm going to go in with this green, some more green, but at the moment I'm liking how it's turning out. So I went ahead and cut a little chunk out so you can see there's some more spots that have been filled in. And then this is that ledger paper I was talking about before, and you see how it has like numbers? I like that look. I like seeing them on the tags in the background and stuff. Just gives it such a fun look, a vintagey fun look. And then I have this envelope also that are like antique documents, antique receipts, antique bill heads, but they have like holes in them, and they're really grungy and they're falling apart. So I just use them whenever I do this type of craft. I use them in my collages, really, not just masterboard, but any kind of collage. Because I'm not going to take that and use that as a pocket, because it's, you know, it's falling apart and it has tears and it's super grungy. So I just use them on my collage pages, and they work out good that way. They work out nice. I like it. And I always like to try to put the date, like if it, like that one I think was 18 something. But I love using like, you know, the fonts and seeing the dates and stuff, the handwritten script, or even the printed. And so with the bottom and the sides, I typically will do like, obviously the bottom part is a straight edge, and then tear it. Or sometimes I'll put a straight strip down, and then I'll put a torn piece on top of the straight strip, but not all the way down. And I had thought about doing this in real time, and maybe I will. Maybe if I just do one page instead of 2 pages, it might work out. But like I said, I am slow with some things. But usually once I get going, it speeds up. But starting out, I'm pretty slow. And, you know, I wouldn't think y'all would want to stay here for like an hour watching me masterboard collage. But then again, maybe you would. I don't know. I don't mind it. I enjoy it. So I'm just, you know, using that antique paper and putting it all around. So I've got some lighter colors. I've got some like bright colors, and I've got the sorry, my dog's whining at the door. She distracted me. She's my little shadow. She's got to be with me. She's not happy unless she is. But she's not allowed in here, so. And then, yeah, so that's just a little piece of scrapbooking paper, I think. So I'll just use little pieces of it, bits here and there. I won't like just use big, huge chunks of scrapbooking paper, especially if it's double-sided, because I feel like the double-sided papers also they have a much better use, you know, than just collaging it. And my hands get super sticky, so you gotta have a wipe when you're doing this for sure. So there I just kind of moved my phone over because I think it was dying and I had to plug it up. And typically I'm listening to either Gail or Racheal or whoever, you know, it's whoever I'm into at the moment. And I guess I was watching Racheal, I think that is. I hope that's not too distracting. I'll pay better attention next time, I promise. Okay, so now I'm going in with some more darker colors, darker tones. And this piece here is from Racheal. And I will go ahead and link her shop below too, just because I used her stuff and I'll talk about her. Maybe you've never seen her or looked at her shop. So I saw that she came out with a new tall document style kit and some labels. So I'm really thinking I'm going to give the document style journal a try. And I'm kind of excited about it, but I gotta finish doing what I'm doing first, and then I can work on that. And I'm so excited about those labels. I was really hoping that her and Steffi would make some Christmas ones. So I had to hop on there and get me some right away. I still have to cut them out, but I got them. So yeah, so I'm just throwing this green piece here, darker piece here, there, and everywhere. And I think I just about have it covered for the most part. Maybe there's a few places. I have, when I've made these boards before, because it does get so busy, sometimes I don't cover every little piece up, and then when I go to work on it, I'm like, oops, but it's not a big deal because you can cover it up, you know, right then and there. So no biggie. But yeah, I think I'm just about done with this here. I'm just gonna fill in the gaps. I had some like vintage wallpaper that I was gonna try to use, but I don't think it ended up making it. So yeah. I think that's that vintage wallpaper. Maybe I do use a little bit of it. So I even have a wallpaper on there. It's just a hodgepodge of all different kinds of little pieces. All different textures and weights and all the good fun stuff. So you see how I'm doing smaller pieces now, like just kind of filling it in. So you have like big pieces, and then I'm putting smaller pieces on top of the big pieces. I'm gonna use my numbers. Let me tell you, that ledger paper sure does come in handy. I love it. And if you don't have any authentic ledger, you can always, there's a gazillion printables out there. Oh yeah, I forgot I did this too. I just put this is like a dictionary from like the early 1900s, I believe. And I just wanted to put some dictionary, tiny print in there, here and there. I was thinking that I would use the illustrations too, but I don't think I did. So I'm just going to continue on with my dictionary pieces, the small ones. From this angle, it looks like there's a lot going on watching it, you know. But once you cut it up and you decorate it, it's really neat. I like it. And I will I'll cut it up and decorate it, but I'll do that in a separate video. I mean, I'll cut it up in this one, but I'll decorate them in a separate video. But I do decorate one, I think, just to show you. So then those are some more tiny pieces, and I can't remember the shop I got the, well, wait a minute. I think they're from my favorite Ephemera. That's the name of the shop. And I love them. They work so wonderful on a whole bunch of different little things, and there's really not much to them. There's just some numbers, dates, but I don't know, I just like them. I like how they look, and I like the interest that it adds to it. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut them up, and like I said, I'm going to cut them up face up so that I can see what I'm getting, for some of them anyways. Well, you'll see. It's kind of hard for me to explain. So I think I do like, I'm going by width here, and I think I'm going for either 3.5 or 4 inches for tags, because I'm going to actually put these through my my embosser and cut them out with the tag die, my Big Shot, that's what it's called, Big Shot. So this one, I wanted to make sure that that little house was a tag. So I was like, okay, well, I'll make this one a little bit bigger, and it'll give me a couple of pockets or journaling cards or whatever they end up turning into. And then I like that one with the little birds too. I thought it was pretty. So yeah, so I'm just going to cut that down. And I have one that is taller than the other, but that's okay. You can have all different sizes and shapes of your tags. And I think here I was cutting them at maybe 5 high. And then the leftover pieces are just, you know, will be whatever. So this is what they turned out to be. I really like it a lot. And I'm just kind of organizing them as far as size goes. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm kind of looking at them to decide which ones do I want to use in my die cutting machine and which ones do I want to leave plain, you know, the shape that they are. And I think I only do a few. So here's my Big Shot. I've got this tag die that is one of my favorites. And I got that from my local scrapbooking store. And then the other dies I got, it's like a whole bunch of different tag sizes. And I love that one too. And it's from scrapbook.com. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut this out with my Big Shot. And then, believe it or not, I save those little leftover pieces too. And I do something with them. Just because they're already collaged and they're fun, and you know, I try to use what I can. And they're already fun and interesting, so why not use them, you know? So then this die is the one from scrapbook.com. And then that, I also cut out a little piece that can go on that first tag that I did. So there, I'm showing you. Which I think I end up losing it anyways, and it doesn't stay on there or make it on there. Oops. That's alright. So then now I'm just looking to see which ones do I want to use for my dies and which ones I'm gonna leave. And I didn't make y'all suffer through that whole process. So now I'm gonna go ahead and just decorate one of the tags. And I have these stickers from Temu. They're really awesome. And I was thinking I'll do a mushroom, but then I was like, no, I'm not going to do a mushroom. I'm going to do a flower. Even though, you know, I realize that the flowers those particular flowers may not be in season during the winter, but it's pretty and I like it, so I'm gonna do it. The only thing is peeling this sticker from this backing is a little tricky sometimes. But I do love these stickers. Just because I like that they're transparent and, you know, it looks like somebody sketched it out on there. So now I'm going to back it, and I like to back my tags with ledger paper. I use obviously ledger paper for everything. I'm always saying ledger paper, ledger paper, ledger paper. But it's so pretty and it's fun, you know, when you have a tag and it's got real authentic ledger on it. I mean, it's even fun when it's printed too, of course, but I don't know, I just love the idea of real ledger, using it for everything. I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. So I've got it backed, and I am thinking to myself that I'm going to go ahead and I know I'm going to stitch around it, but I wasn't sure what else I was going to do to it. It's like, well, I'm sure I can find a label to go on here. But let me just do a little inking. Ink and think, as Gail says, right? But so far I really like it. I think it's pretty and it's fun. And who would have thought that just cutting a tag shaped out of that paper and throwing a sketch sticker on there would do what it does, you know? Oh, and then these are my little fabric clusters that we made together the other day. And I just picked that one that had the pine cone out. Was thinking I can use it as a topper, and then I was like, well, let me try one of these. Maybe they would work better. One of the skinny ones. And then I was like, I need something here. This space is a little too empty. So let's add a little label. And these are labels from Vintage 716 on Etsy. Or wait, maybe it's Vintage Studio 716. But I'll link them below too. Hopefully I remember. And it took me a little minute to decide which one I wanted to do. But I just went with the blank one. I figured that way you can write a date or leave a blank. Or put a word, sticker on there, whatever the case may be. So I'm just going to stitch around it really quick. That was fast, right? And then put my label down. And then I decided that I did like the that little topper. It has a little pine cone on it too. So I was like, that'll work out good. And then I think that pretty much wraps it up. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a blessed day. Bye.